Hey guys, now this is actually something that came out like 7 months ago, and I can't believe I didn't do this. But this is for Genshin, and it's the Teyvat chapter storyline preview. Basically, it's kind of setting up the future of what to expect. Um, Now, Mihoyo had a 5-year plan that they wanted to do, but actually they changed that to 10 years. So we're gonna have content for Genshin for at least 10 years. And I can't wait. I love the game. I love the storyline. I love the characters. I love the open world. It's absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't played it, give it a try. It's free to play. Um, you don't like it, you just uninstall it off your computer. It's not a big deal. But I would say give it a try if you like open world games. Some people don't like the anime aesthetic to it, but just give it a try. I mean, plus I would love to have some of you guys to play with. That'd be really amazing. Maybe have a stream of all of us just playing together. That'd be great. But so they're setting up for the nations. We've still got like Inazuma, Snezhnaya, Fontaine, all these other areas. Um, Now I don't think that's the actual world that we're gonna experience because I think there's going to be more after that because it's kind of like Azeroth, where you have this huge continent and it has different zones for, in World of Warcraft. But here we have nations. So once we visit all these nations, what do? Well, most likely because Teyvat is like, I guess, the planet you're living on, because it says Teyvat is the world in which this takes place. After we visit the seven nations, probably go to another continent that has even more nations. Um, so this is kind of sets the uh, story and kind of shows what to expect in the future. And I can't wait. Like I said, I absolutely love the game. So here we go. So we're gonna go ahead and start.
We had no time to say goodbye, so let's not call it that.
The war has already begun. It is just a continuation of past battles. The gods goad us on with the promise of their 7 treasures, rewards for the worthy, the doorway to divinity. Yet buried in the depths of this world lies smoldering remains, a warning to those that dare trespass. That throne in the sky is not reserved for you. But mortal arrogation never stops. None will escape the flames. See for yourself. The dragon who defended Mondstadt for a millennium finally faces his perturbation. What does freedom really mean when demanded of you by a god? The god of contracts, senselessly slaughtered as his people watched on in horror. In the end, he will sign the contract to end all contracts. In the secluded land of the immortal Shogun, the Bakufu rules eternal. But what do mortals see of the eternity chased after by their god? The god of wisdom's enemy is wisdom itself, and the oasis of knowledge is a mirage in the desert of ignorance. In the city of scholars, there is a push for folly, yet the god of wisdom makes no argument against it. The god of justice lives for the spectacle of the courtroom, seeking to judge all other gods. But even she knows not to make an enemy of the divine. The rules of war are woven in the womb. The victors shall burn bright, while the losers must turn to ash. When the god of war shares this secret with the traveler, it is because she has her reasons. She is a god with no love left for her people, nor do they have any left for her. Her followers hope only to be on her side when the day of her rebellion against the divine comes at last. In the perpetual meantime of a sheltered eternity, most are content to live and not to dream. But in the hidden corners where the god's gaze does not fall, there are those who dream of dreaming. Some say a few are chosen and the rest are dregs. But I say we humans have our humanity. We will defy this world with a power from beyond. Now, you who has set foot in this world, your journey has reached its end, but one final doorway remains. Step forth if you have understood the meaning of your journey. Defeat me, command me to step aside. Show me that you are worthier than I to rescue her. Then, the threads of all fate will be yours to reweave.
Oh, Sasuke, you hunky piece of meat, you. So he reminds me of Sasuke. He's very, you know, Sasuke-like. Best way to describe it. All right, so we've been through a couple chapters. We've done the Outlander who caught the wind. We've done, you know, the ending of Daddy Zhongli. He's given up his gnosis. He's no longer as powerful as he used to be. Basically, now Mora production has stopped. Whatever's in the Golden House is pretty much whatever money they have left. Since as Rex Lapis or Morax, where it got its name, he is the one who created the money, but he no longer has the power to do so. So the humans are going to have to start producing their own form of currency after they, once they get close to running out of Mora. But Zhongli's retired. He gave his gnosis to Signora, who is giving it to the Tsaritsa for whatever purpose she wants all the gnosis for, most likely for power. But Zhongli, knowing that it could be a terrible idea, did it to uphold his part of the contract that he made with the Tsaritsa and Signora, basically to cause all this havoc, to see if the world, or at least Liyue, was ready to move forward without the gods and the Adepti, if they were able to stand up, or more just without the gods, the Adepti and the Chising, and they get involved, but they want to know that they can move forward without the help of gods. So people like Kaching and Zhao and Madame Ping and Cloud Retainer and all of them, that's who he wants to take care of everything now. So Zhongli is retired. He's just basically Zhongli now. He's no longer Morax. He's no longer Rex Lapis. He's just Zhongli. Is he immortal still? Most likely, but he's choosing to live his life as the mortals do. So unless someone flat out kills him, he's still going to be around. He's just not nearly as powerful as he used to be. Then we go to the place I am fucking excited for. Snezhnaya is one of the places I'm excited for, but Inazuma, I am the most excited for. Japanese culture, Japanese architecture, I love it. It is so fucking gorgeous. And I can't wait to see if maybe they have a Mount Fuji representation in here. They've shown some artwork of it. Absolutely gorgeous. I love the fact that they're doing Inazuma. We have Ayaka here, who everyone is waiting for. We don't know when she's going to be in the game. You can get her if you have the beta, when they were beta testing. I think you could either buy her or get her for free or whatever. But she's in the beta. It's still if you're doing that, but people are still waiting for pages of Piranha. So Sumeru is what makes a Sumeru a Sumeru. So Sumeru is very like Middle Eastern. You can see very much just based on the character right here. Anubis, so it's very Egyptian. So it's going to be Middle Eastern, deserty, which that's great because I mean, if they do that right, I would love to see maybe an oasis. That would be really really cool. You're in a desert area and you just have this little time of reprieve where you can go into this oasis like area and there's these beautiful trees and shrubs all over the place and uh, all flora and fauna and a pool, a large body of water, but very um, Middle Eastern, Egyptian inspired, just from the fact that it is Anubis, which is an Egyptian god, a god of the underworld. Um, so I also love Egyptian lore and the style of it. Just I was always fascinated with the pyramids and the Sphinx, and so it's going to be really cool to see Sumeru, Fontaine, Fountain. Naturally, it's going to be Hydro. Um, Now I hope we see something almost like a Zora's Fountain kind of thing, where pretty much most of it is water. And I hope by this point we have the ability to dive underwater and swim underwater, because having Fontaine, which is hydro, you would think that most of this area would be water. It would really be lame if they kept us on land. So hopefully by this point they've introduced some form of underwater travel, whether it be you need special gear or equipment for it, or you can just dive right on in, and you have like the stamina bar, same thing. You can only go underwater, and the longer you're under there, the stamina drains. And but if you go to the land of water and there's no places to dive or anything, that's going to be lame. But when I think of Fontaine and how elegant water is, how fluid, how very serene it can be. It's gonna look gorgeous. I mean, every place in this game is going to look absolutely gorgeous. The art team is on point. Every area they've created is a knockout every single time. So, just like most games, if something goes wrong, do not blame the art team. They are on point. But I see, a lot of fountains, a lot of waterfalls, um, maybe a city that's kind of like I said, kind of like Zora's Domain or something like that, where it's situated in an area that's filled with water. Um, who knows? They might introduce some kind of fishing um, for people who don't feel like chasing fish, who want to just, you know, you know. But so I find elegance and serenity. So that's what I see Fontaine as. We've got our characters for that, which are like a magician assistant duo, which is going to be interesting when they come out. So we've got next is Natlan, which I believe is the fire area or pyro, and you can see um, Natlan is kind of ruled by very tyrannical ruler, bloodthirsty, warmongering. So you can see that being represented here, very barbaric. Um, we got the bones, so they're going to be very barbarian like, almost like Vikings, I'm guessing. So it's kind of hard to tell. It might be situated by a volcano with lots of lava going on, but yeah, you can see very barbaric. You got the bones, um, but this character looks like they might be well, obviously they should be pyro, but they should have very quick, quick attacks that you can get in, quick succession. Um, Most likely the running, the sprinting buff where sprint and you use less stamina. Uh, Next we have Everwinter Without Mercy, which is, yes, Snezhnaya. Now, I've said this several times. According to Tusser and Child, it's always snowing there. Of course, the Archon there is Cryo, so it's going to be a very cold place. Even colder, I think, than Dragonspine. So we might have the whole sheer cold thing to deal with, unless I've said before, unless they give us like the ability to put on clothes, to bundle up, so that way. I mean, because if you're a cryo user or a pyro user, the cold shouldn't be affecting you. If you're a cryo user, you should not be affected by cryo. Um, but Tusser and Child have said it's snowing all the time, and that in order to that if you were to stop moving, essentially you would freeze to death, literally. So it's a very cold place, snow everywhere. I see Snezhnaya is like almost like a village, a bunch of small villages because maybe they can't have larger cities with electricity and all that because of the sheer cold of it. The sheer cold would just mess up power lines and electricity all the damn time. So I see a lot of candles. I see a lot of smaller houses to prevent heat from escaping for the most part. Um, but when we go to Snezhnaya, we're going to be seeing Tusser again. We're going to be seeing Child's family. So that'll be really cool to see his other siblings that he cares so much about. Um, we've got what seems to be with Saritsa issues though. We've got the Fatui, who we know, with the Abyss Order sometimes, but and then we have the final of Conria, which Dane Sleef is going to be involved, and the dream yet to be dreamed. Conria, the city that was destroyed by the gods. Um, Dainsleif was charged with protecting the city, and it burned and was destroyed. So he was cursed basically with immortality, or just cursed to wander the earth or their world. That's why he knows so much about everything. That's why he's the one narrating, because he's been there, done that, seen it, information on a lot of things. Um, so we may or may not have to fight him at some point. Right now, he is on our side, but he does kind of wield like shadow magic type. I mean, just look at him. The guy just screams shadow. Um, so we're gonna have to probably fight him at some point. But Conria is the finale. This city that was destroyed by the gods. Um, and what lies in wait for us there? Our sister. Will we be reunited? Most likely. But I think after that, they either go their separate ways or the opposite traveler. So if you're the male traveler, so if you're Aether, you'll be able to get Lumine as like a playable, so you can have both of them on your team. Um, and then vice versa. If you have Lumine, you'll be able to get Aether on. So now Dainsleif as a playable character, people saying he's too powerful, but you have Venti and Zhongli who are literal gods, and you can play as them. So I think as powerful as Dainsleif is, you'll be able to play with him eventually. He will probably be like an end game banner. People will be rolling on him like fucking crazy. He's gonna make people a lot. Mahoyo is gonna make a lot of money off of him. Um, a lot of money off him because he's just at the way he's dressed, his personality. uh, the aspect of how he attacks. It's gonna be crazy. But you know, then once the travelers are reunited, they're gonna have a choice. Like, do you stay into that, or do you go back to your homes? To a world where you don't have anything. I mean, it seems like that the idea is, you would think that's what's gonna happen, but it's either you go back to your own world where you don't have anything. You don't have parents, you don't have family, you don't have friends, you just have each other. You go back to the world where you don't have anything. Or you stay into that where you have friends who are now your family. You have everyone you've met along your journey, people who care about you. You stay there and just, start a life there. So I think in the end, there's going to be the cutscene of them having to choose whether or not they want to leave Teyvat and go back to their own world. They're going to choose to stay. One, obviously, to keep the game going. you know, you know, because once they go back to their own world, the game ends. In that universe, there's nothing left to do because the whole game is with them, based with them coming to that and being separated and all that. So once they're reunited, the minute they go home back to their own world together, there's nothing left to do. The game ends, and you just have to play the same shit over and over and over with no new content. Um, so I think they're going to be given a choice in a cutscene, and they're going to decide to stay in the world of Teyvat because despite the fact that they want to go home, they have nothing there. They don't have anything left. So I think they're going to stay in a place where they have family, even though they're not blood family, but Jean, Diluc, Kaya, Klee, Albedo, all these people they've met, they're family. So they're going to choose to stay. And then, yeah. So that's for the nations so far. And like I said, after the nations, the first, what is it, 7 nations, there's going to be more, I assume, because I seriously doubt this consumes the entire planet. I assume this is more like a small continent. So when we get done with one continent, we're gonna go to another one. But yeah, that's just my theory. A game theory. Um, but anyways, what do you guys think? Let me know below. Thumbs up, thumbs down, come subscribe, all that great stuff, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye, guys.